Hi, Aquarius. This is Jeffrey. This is Ripecolor. And this is your reading for 2023 for the whole year. Yay. I know this light's a little strange, but I moved the table. It's better than it was. I have to get one of those. I had one, but it broke. I had two and they broke. Um, Please like, subscribe, share, comment, press the bell for notifications. I offer private readings. I also offer IET. IET is a healing modality. There's a description of it, like a video description of it in my Feast of Guadalupe video, which I did. I don't know when you're watching this, but I'm making these on December 13th, and I did the Guadalupe video on the 11th. So put in Feast of Guadalupe, I'm sure you can find it. All right. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, press the bell for notifications. I think I said that. All right. So adjustment. Because whatever's going on with me is usually my little mini message. So adjustment. It's like I have to step back a little bit. So step back, observe a little bit. See it from a different angle, a different perspective, or, oh, it has to be my way. Yeah, I got it, believe me. But sometimes it's like I keep on trying to force my way and it doesn't really work. The dogs are agreeing with me. I don't know if you can hear them, but they're agreeing with me. Whenever they bark, they agree with me. I think I keep on telling myself that. I guess it'll kick in. All right. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. All right. So we start with the 7. The 7 is a card of confidence. All 7s are confidence. And, I read this card as trust your own thoughts. Take your idea and run with it. It's your idea, run with it. Okay? There might be a little adjustment, but take your idea and run with it. And then, you might get to this place where it's sort of like, well, I don't really know. I don't know if it's going to work. I'm really overwhelmed. Fight the fight. Fight the fight. Okay, so sometimes fighting the fight, it's like, well, this is what I want to accomplish, right? And it's my idea, I'm running with it. And then, you come up like maybe you need money for it, or you're trying to convince people to be on board with you, or so you might have to switch it a little bit in order for it to, gel, in order for it to work, in order for it to, and sometimes, even though it isn't my ideal initially, it's like, well, that's not how I envisioned it. And then something happens on the outside or on the inside, or, new information comes. It's like, okay, I'll try it that way. And then sometimes it actually, it's fine. Because, you have places to go. You have places to go. You're interested in expansion. You're not interested in the old. He's not interested in the old. He turned his back on the old. He's moving forward in a new direction, toward expansion, toward new opportunity, toward, more, I don't know, more everything, more adventure. Yeah. Okay. Another 2. So you're going to have a lot of choices to make, a lot of choices to make. And, so like so far, it's going to be, because I have the 7 and then I have the 9 and now I have the 2 of Pentacles. The 2 Pentacles, he always manages to keep his balls afloat, always. But it's a little bit of a like, oh, okay. Sometimes things that are worth accomplishing take a lot of effort and a lot of, I have to move this way, I have to move that way, I have to, adjust. Because you're following your intuition. And, you're looking forward to, he wears his heart in his sleeve. There's a pure love coming out of him. And he's almost, there's an innocence, there's real innocence. But it's like you know that there's this new opportunity for healing, for intuition. It's like you're really following your inner guide. And it's like, I know it's going to work. I know it's going to work. I'm going to make that play, right? Because he's almost, I always think of him as like a 14-year-old, right? Either a boy or a girl who's like in love with their teacher. Oh, I love you. I know it's going to work out. But I think if you go in with that attitude, it's like, well, maybe the first one won't say yes, but the second one will, or the third or the fourth. But like, if you keep on like, right, maintain that optimism and that sense of it's got to work. It's got to work. Because like the idea didn't come to me for nothing. I fought so hard for it. I'm not giving up the ship. I'm going to keep on until I get it. So I'll tell you an interesting story. I many years ago I had a t-shirt business where I would do I would hand. It's a long story, but I would hand dye t-shirts with images on them, right? And then I went to like an area in New York that had a lot of stores, and the ones that I really wanted to be in were very like dismissive, and one of them I waited for a long time, but then they were on the phone the whole time. It was like, and it's kind of the wind went out of my sails in a lot of ways, but it was out of my first day, honestly. And so I think maybe the fourth or fifth store that I went to, because it was like a whole bunch of stores, how sometimes areas of a city have like, it's all electronic stores or all whatever. And I was sort of like, I don't know. I don't know. But I went in anyway with like, this attitude. And you know what? They ended up buying them. And I ended up doing business with them for well over 10 years. And they were actually, in a lot of ways, the mainstay of my business, because out of that store, and because it was in New York and it was in this area, that was a lot of stores from around the country would come and see what's up, and because there were wholesale shows in New York. So through that store, I got a store in San Francisco, another one in LA, another one in Japan, another one San Diego. It was all because I was in that store. So, just keep on keeping on. Yeah. You're not following anyone else's lead. You're not following anyone else's lead. You've changed your mind. It's like, well, everyone says I should do it like that, la, 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 la. Maybe you're going to open a pizza store on the second floor, right? Or, something like everyone's going to be like, oh, what? But it's like, this is your dream. This is your baby. This is your, it was just an example. Yeah. You're going after the thing, you're leaving behind what is no longer satisfying, and you're going on your spiritual quest. And it's interesting because so many times, people think, oh, my spiritual quest, it's like, oh, I'm going to go live in the woods and never talk to anyone and make friends with the bears and the deer and, whatever. Sometimes your spiritual quest is the thing that makes your heart sing. It's the thing that makes your heart sing, the thing that satisfies you. Because I think part of the reason, I say this a lot, but part of like the incarnation is to be satisfied, to be happy, to be joyous, to be full. That's part of it. Well, I'm doing this, because I'm totally of service to everyone, and it doesn't really make me happy, but it's like, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. It's like, is it making you happy? Is it making you full? Because if it is, then it's probably the right road. Right. Yeah. Really clear. Really clear. Really clear. This is my vision. This is what I have to do to accomplish it. This is what I have to manipulate. This is what I have to juggle. I'm following my own path. It's healing to me. I'm following my intuition. It's expansive. In the past, I felt, I'm going to show you all the cards. In the past, I felt, like kind of overwhelmed. And the interesting thing about this card is that sometimes the way I read this card is taking somebody else's idea and running with it. So, everyone thinks they're going to reinvent the wheel. That's nice. Wheels work because they're round, so it makes things go smoother. You can make a wheel out of an octagon or a hexagon, but chances are it won't work as well. So it's like sometimes the idea is right there in front of you, and it's like you put your own little spin on it and it becomes your idea, right? It's the same old idea, but so sometimes that card is that. It's like, well, I'm going to open the same sort of business, but in a new way, in a new place, at a new hours, like that. Yeah, because this is what I'm getting. So this is really the truth that can't be unseen, because I feel like in the past you followed other people's leads and you followed other people's ideas, and it led to your heart wasn't in it. So like it led to heartache, because you weren't there with it. You were like, I don't know, doing the motions or however they say that, right? But you weren't in it. And if you're not in it, and if you're not invested in it, right, then nothing's going to happen, or something yucky is going to happen. Yucky. All right. I already cursed once in the video, so I can't. It's really difficult. I have to tell you. Then we have the Knight of Pentacles, who stops at nothing until it's done, steadfast, right? And it's like, I'm going to stand still until that foundation is, I'm going to move slowly and surely, but it's going to get done. It's going to get done. And, asking for help and offering help are the name of the, this is about collaboration. It's about collaboration. Collaboration, though, doesn't mean that you're living someone else's dream. Collaboration means collaboration. So it means that, the core of what you want to create is intact. Maybe it'll switch a little bit, or maybe someone has an idea, that would enhance it, or maybe you can boast, or all three, or whatever, but it doesn't mean I'm giving up my thing because, oh, you have but no, doesn't mean that at all. Who knows what you can create? What's interesting about her too? This Isis. It's another two. It's a third two, by the way. Choices, choices, choices. She creates out of the chaos. She creates out of the chaos. She takes something that wasn't working and makes it work. She takes something that's like dead and brings it back to life. That's what she does. That's what she does. She's, it's a really interesting card, because sometimes, and it's the only major I have here, she, sometimes she reveals the light, and sometimes she keeps it to herself, but she's always creating. She's always creating. This is also the other thing about this card that's really interesting is like, this is a dream you've dreamt. And, sometimes it's like in a dream, I have a fantasy of something, and it's like, it didn't come to you for nothing. It didn't come to you for nothing. It could also be a daydream, by the way, but it didn't come to, you know what I mean? It's like, if somebody else was supposed to have that dream, they would have had it, right? It's like spirit is working overtime, and who knows how, and offered this to you. So it's almost like there's a higher calling here. And, I get that also with this card. It's like a higher calling. It's like a higher calling. So very interesting. Very interesting. And, Pluto is going to be coming into your sign this year. I don't know when, I think March. It'll go back again, but Pluto like destroys something so that something else can come up. I was watching, in Mexico, um, you walk by a building and, one is brand new and then one is really old and decrepit. And then there's an empty space. And it's like there are all these opportunities. And so there was a tree that was sort of growing around everything today. And I was like, look at that. Look at that. There's life everywhere. It gnarled itself around this weird once edifice. And it's like, oh yeah, I'll manage. And there was something really beautiful about it, really unusual and beautiful about it, using the old to create something new. So that is my take for Aquarius for 2023, a very nice reading. And what I think I'm going to do is I put up the yearly for everybody, and then I think I'm going to do, you know, all air, all water, all earth on different days. I think that's what I'm going to do, depending. I mean, because I've been drinking coffee and it's only 8:30, so I could probably stay up all night. All right, blessings.